Most people are shopping for condos in Ala Moana and Kaka'ako area. Think it's simple. Pick a building, pick a view, done. But here is what they get wrong. In Honolulu, two condos in the same price range, in the same neighborhood, can feel completely different to live in. The stack matters. Corner position matters. The parking situation matters. And the monthly building reality, meaning what you're actually paying every month, what you're walking into, reserves and insurance, that decides whether you love your decision 5 years from now, or you wish you had asked better questions. Today, I am taking you inside one of my latest listings, Unit 3807 at the Central Ala Moana at 1391 Kapiolani Boulevard. This is a newer build, a corner unit on level 38. Got 2 parking spaces and a location that a lot of serious buyers are sleeping on. My name is Duke Ah. I am a full-time real estate broker on Oahu. I work with buyers and sellers across Honolulu, and a big part of what I do is help people relocating from the mainland. Families and investors figure out which neighborhoods and product types actually match their life. Before we even step inside, you need the big picture on this location, because the unit is strong, but the reason this works is the positioning plus the product type together. This is the Central Ala Moana at 1391 Kapiolani. We're sitting right on the edge of Ala Moana and the core town corridor. Ala Moana Center is right over there, and that matters more than most buyers realize until they actually live here. Let me give you 5 reasons this specific pocket is a smart move for the right buyer. Reason 1. Town begins without the Waikiki chaos. If you're new to Oahu, there is something that takes most people a few weeks to understand. Waikiki and Ala Moana feel close on a map. They are not the same to live in. Waikiki is for tourists. Traffic patterns built around visitors, constant churn, and a lifestyle that works great for a vacation and wears on you fast for daily life. Ala Moana is different. You have the same access to the beach park, same proximity to shopping, same port town convenience, but you're not inside the tourist zone. From this building, you can walk to Ala Moana Center, one of the largest open-air shopping centers in the country, in minutes. Beach park access is also close by. Kaka'ako and its restaurants, coffee spots, and walkable blocks are just right over there. Downtown is a short drive away. This is a place where you can enjoy city living without the constant feeling of being in a tourist resort. That is a real quality of life distinction on this island, and it is one buyers only appreciate once they've experienced the altered. Reason 2. Walkability and daily errand. This is the question I get from almost every buyer considering a town condo. Can I actually live here without a car for daily errands? The answer in this location is yes, with nuance. Ala Moana Center access is real and walkable. Grocery options exist right in this area. Coffee, food, quick stops. This is genuinely walkable in a way that very few Honolulu locations are, because Oahu generally is a car culture island. But here's the nuance. Walkability in Honolulu is not New York walkability. You will still want a car if you have kids in school, if you have a job in a different part of the island, or if you want to explore outside the immediate corridor. 2 parking spaces in this unit help solve that problem. The lifestyle here is walk for daily routine, drive for the rest of the island. For a lot of buyers, that is the right balance. 2 parking spaces is a real quality of life upgrade in town. I want to spend a moment on this because buyers from the mainland consistently underestimate how important this is until they live it. Parking in town is a constraint. If you have 1 car and 1 space, your life is manageable. But if you have 2 drivers, guests visiting, or just want to not think about parking every single day, 1 space starts to create friction fast. This unit is listed with 2 parking spaces. In a town condo, that is a genuine quality of life upgrade. It's the difference between routine and friction. If you have a partner, you're not coordinating who gets the space. If family visits from the mainland, you're not scrambling. From an investment standpoint, it also matters for future resale. A 2 parking space unit at this location has a wider buyer pool than a 1 space unit because it solves a real problem with more people. Not underrate parking when we're evaluating Honolulu condos. It is not a bonus feature. It's part of your daily life. Reason 4. A newer build changes your maintenance timeline. Let's talk about what newer actually means in condo terms, because this matters financially, not just aesthetically. Building completed in 2021 typically means newer mechanical systems, newer finishes, newer infrastructure, compared to a building from the 70s or 80s, which makes up a significant portion of the condo inventory in this bucket. You are usually buying yourself a longer runway before major catch-up maintenance hits. Now, newer doesn't mean perfect. Every building has its issues, and every condo owner should still review the reserve study and understand the financial health that is non-negotiable. And we'll get into that later. But here is the practical difference. When you buy into older inventory, you're often buying into a backlog. Bird maintenance, aging systems, special assessments that were already in motion before you showed up. A 2021 build is not immune to that, but the probability of inheriting a problem is lower in the first stretch of ownership. When you tour any condo in Honolulu, you detect walk the lobby like you live there. If something already feels off before you see the unit, that feeling usually gets confirmed when you dig into building's finances. Reason 5. Be simple and flood zone are good starting points, but the condo docs decide the deal. Alright, this is where I want to be direct with you. Public record on this property shows fee simple ownership and flood zone X designation. Both of those are positives. Fee simple means you own the land, just not a given employee. Leasehold properties exist here and carry a completely different risk and financing profile. And flood zone X means you're not in a high-risk flood area, which affects your insurance requirements and peace of mind. That's a good start, but those two items do not tell you what this decision actually costs every month, or what risk you're walking into with the building. The monthly maintenance fee, what it includes and does not include, any current or upcoming special assessments, the reserve funding level, building insurance, and what the deductible structure means for you as an owner. Rental and pet rules that could limit your flexibility. Financing restrictions that affect your buyer pool when you eventually sell. That is what decides the deal, not the view, not the staging, not the floor level. The paperwork is where this gets weird. We will go through all that in the verify list at the end of the walkthrough. I want you walking out of this video knowing exactly what to ask before you say yes to any condo in this area. By the way, if you're seriously thinking about moving to Oahu and you're trying to figure out which neighborhoods match your life, what things actually cost to live here, and how to approach the condo decision without making an expensive mistake, I put together a free relocation guide that breaks all of that down. Neighborhoods, pricing, lifestyle trade-offs, cost of living reality, and what the market looks like right now. The link is in the description below. Download it before you book a flight, before you do anything. It'll save you time and give you a much clearer picture of what you're actually walking into. Alright, 1391 Kapiolani Boulevard, Unit 3807. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 981 square feet. Quarter unit, level 38, built in 2021, 2 parking spaces. Let's look inside. The first 5 seconds in any condo tells you a lot. Does it feel cramped right at the door? Is there a natural place to drop your shoes, keys, and groceries? Does the space open up, or does the entry create a pinch point that makes the whole unit feel smaller? In a well-designed condo, the entry functions before it impresses. You want to feel like you can arrive home, put things down, and transition. Not feel like you're squeezing past the wall every time you walk in. Note the entry here. Notice how quickly the space opens up as you move forward. That first impression matters because it sets the tone for everything. Alright, this unit is currently tenant occupied, so what you're seeing is real furniture in a lived-in space. That's actually useful. It tells you exactly how the layout functions when someone is actually living here, not when a stager has done everything possible to make it look bigger than it is. And what I want you to notice is that it works. Even with all this furniture, you still have real floor space. That's 981 square feet, actually living well. Now, look at the window situation. You have the lanai door, left side, flooding the room with light, and then a second window on the right side near the kitchen. That is the corner unit advantage showing up in real life. 2 exposures. The room never feels dark. It doesn't feel like a box with one wall of glass. The kitchen connects directly to the living area over that counter with bar stools. Picture 2 people here, one cooking, one sitting at the counter. The conversation doesn't stop. The space stays connected. That open flow is one of the things that separates a condo that lives easy from one that creates friction every single day. The premium LVT floors run throughout, and they make the space feel cohesive. Clean sight lines from the entry all the way to the lanai. For 981 square feet in town, this layout earns its square footage. That is the test. The kitchen in a condo tells you how the builder prioritized daily life versus just photography. Is there real counter space? Does it connect to the living area in a way that makes sense? Can two people be in the kitchen at the same time without it becoming negotiation? Picture a normal Thursday. You're cooking. Your partner is in the living room. The kitchen connects to living space, so the conversation doesn't stop just because you're making dinner. That connection is the difference between a condo that works for real life and one that looks great on a listing but creates friction every day. This is also where I want you to notice the finishes, not just aesthetically, but functionally. Appliance quality, cabinet quality, countertop durability. These are the things you live with. They're not just staging choices. This is the second bedroom. If you're buying this as a primary residence, the second bedroom is probably your home office, your guest room for family visiting from the mainland, or a room that does both, depending on the week. In town, where so many people have family flying in from the West Coast or the mainland, that guest room is not optional. It's part of why you need a two-bedroom in the first place. The second bath gives whoever is in that room their own space. Privacy matters when your parents are visiting for 2 weeks. Anyone who has had a family member sleeping on a couch in a one-bedroom knows exactly what I mean. Ask yourself, does this room have a window? Does it have enough space for a bed and a desk? Is the bath easy to access without walking through the primary suite? Good second bedrooms answer yes to all three. Okay, so this is the primary suite. And again, it's tenant occupied, so what you're seeing is real life in this room. Bed, nightstands, a desk setup next to the window. Someone is actually living here and working here. That tells you something useful. Look at the window line first. Floor to ceiling glass with sheer curtain. That is a significant amount of natural light coming into the bedroom. And because this is the cooler mountain-facing side of the building, getting that light without the afternoon heat baking through the glass. That is a combination that is hard to find that people realize. Bright room, but comfortable temperature. Now, look at the floor space. Tenant has furniture, and there's still real floor space on both sides of the bed and at the foot. You're not squeezing past furniture to get to the closet. Breeze. If you're a remote worker and you want a dedicated workspace in the primary suite without it feeling cramped, this room supports that. Natural light, a view line, and enough square footage to separate sleep from work without them competing for the same corner. The luxury vinyl tile floors run through here consistent with the rest of the unit. Clean, low maintenance, practical for Hawaii living. This is a room that functions on a Tuesday morning, not just in a listing for it. That is the standard I use, and this one passes it. Alright, let's talk about this view honestly. This is the mountain and city side. You're looking out at the Honolulu skyline, Sky Ala Moana Towers, and the Ko'olau Range behind everything. On a clear day, those mountains are dramatic. Got green ridge line, clouds moving through the peaks, the city spread out below you. This is not an ocean view. I want to be straight with you about that. If you have watched other Honolulu condo videos and you're picturing turquoise water from your bedroom window, that is not what this unit delivers. But here is what this view does deliver that a lot of buyers don't think about until they live in. You wake up to this every morning. The mountains, the skyline, the city coming alive below you. And because you're on the cooler northeast side of the building, your bedroom is not fighting the afternoon sun. The light in this room is comfortable. The temperature is manageable without running your AC constantly. In Hawaii, that's a real monthly cost difference. Lower utility costs, more comfortable sleeping temperature, and a view that honestly looks different and more dramatic than a lot of people expect before they see it in person. So know what you're getting. City and mountain. High floor. Good light without the heat penalty. Now, before you get locked into the view, let me give you the verified list, because the view is real and it's earned, but it does not change what you owe every month. The paperwork is where this decision actually gets made. Alright, this is the part that protects you. Every condo buyer in Honolulu should work through this list before they commit. not after. Not during escrow when you're already emotionally attached to the view. Before you structure your offer and before you're in a situation where you feel pressure to push past the numbers. Here is what you need to confirm. Monthly maintenance fee and what it covers. This is the number you're paying every month on top of your mortgage. You need to know exactly what it includes. Water, sewer, trash, insurance on the exterior, amenities, reserves. And you need to know what it doesn't cover, because the delta is what you're responsible for separate, current, and upcoming special assessments. A special assessment is a one-time charge that gets levied, and the building needs capital for something the reserves cannot cover. It can be a few $100s, it can be tens of thousands. Ask directly. Get it in writing from the seller. Don't assume there are none. A reserve study and reserve funding health. The reserve study is a document that projects what major capital expenses the building expects over the next several decades and whether the reserve account is funded adequately to cover them. Underfunded reserves are one of the most common sources of special assessment risk. A well-funded reserve is a sign of a well-managed building. Building insurance and deductible structure. Condos in Hawaii carry hurricane insurance requirements in many cases, and the deductible on building insurance can be significant. Know what the building's policy covers, what the deductible is, and what your walls-in policy needs to cover as an owner. Insurance in Hawaii has been a moving target in recent years. Get current answers, rental rules, pet rules, and owner occupancy requirements. If you plan to rent this unit at any point, whether medium-term or long-term, we need to know exactly what the building allows before you buy it. Some buildings have minimum rental periods. Most prohibit short-term rentals entirely. Some have owner-occupancy ratios that affect financing. Know before you commit. Parking stall details. We know this unit is listed with 2 parking spaces. Confirm they are needed or assigned. Confirm their location in the structure and confirm there are no restrictions on how they can be used or transferred. Parking in Honolulu condos can get complicated. Verify the specifics. Financing restrictions. Some condo buildings have owner-occupancy ratios that make conventional financing difficult or impossible. If you're purchasing with a loan, your lender will do a condo questionnaire. But you want to know in advance whether any known restrictions exist before you get under contract. That is the verify list. Work through every item. If the seller cannot provide clear answers, that is important information. Let me ask you something before we wrap this up. If you're looking at condos in the Ala Moana and Kaka'ako area right now, what is the one thing you feel like you cannot figure out from listing photos and online research alone? Is it the building quality, the monthly cost reality, which floor and stack is actually worth the premium? Is it understanding what the condo docs really mean for your monthly number? Because most buyers I talk to think they're shopping for a unit, but they're actually trying to solve a problem. And until you name the actual problem, you're gonna keep looking at listings without getting closer to clarity. Think about what you're actually trying to figure out. The unit is usually the easy part. The building, the docs, the monthly reality, and a comparison across the area. That is where the decision gets made. Alright, let's wrap this up. Unit 3807 at the Central Ala Moana is a 2021 build, corner position, level 38, 2 parking spaces, fee simple condo right on the Ala Moana and Pualani edge of town. The location delivers convenience without the Waikiki chaos. The product type delivers what a new building should relative to older inventory in this corridor. And the corner plus height combination gives you a unit that lives bigger than the square footage suggests. Who does this fit? If you want town convenience, if you want walkability for daily errands, if you care about a newer building with less catch-up maintenance risk, and if you're okay with a high-rise lifestyle rather than a house and yard lifestyle, this is a strong product in a pocket that deserves serious attention. Who does this not fit? If you want a quiet residential pocket, if you want a yard, if you want a neighborhood feel over urban convenience, then the Midtown Ala Moana corridor is probably not your pocket, regardless of how strong the unit is. And that is okay. Knowing that saves you time. The decision still comes down to the monthly reality and the condo docs. Verify the list I gave you. Don't skip it. The view is great. The verify list is what protects the decision behind the view. If you're thinking seriously about buying a condo in the Ala Moana and Kaka'ako corridor, and you want help comparing buildings, understanding the stacks, navigating the condo docs, and making sure you're not overpaying or buying into a building with financial risk hiding in the paperwork, call, text, or email I will tell you what the market is actually doing in your specific price range right now. Help you build a smart tour plan and make sure you have the right information before you commit. And if you're not quite ready, download my free 30-page Oahu relocation guide by clicking the link below or scanning the QR code.